I'm Thuranku Amachuraka. In this video, I present to you an acronym, Makes It a Power Act, an acronym which gives you at least some of the necessary conditions for personal evolvement and self-mastery. Now, I'm giving you this in case you are following along with a lot of the material that I post regarding personal evolvement and self-mastery. This can give you an overview from one point of view regarding the point of view that regards or has to do with necessary conditions for self-mastery. The kinds of things that we're up to here in this channel. Also, if you are endeavoring to attain a level of self-mastery and personal involvement on your own, this can give you a heads up on some of the things you have to think about and engage in for yourself. Additionally, if you are endeavoring to go at something like this by yourself, on your own, it can be quite a challenge to figure out what things you need to do. Not only what things you will need to address, but what things to do first. A logical sequence to follow, and what things can be run in parallel. So I'll just touch briefly on perhaps what to think about doing first. As far as logical sequence to follow, and what things can be run in parallel with one another, and what techniques to actually look up and employ for yourself, those will not be the aim of this video. So, makes it a power act. That's M-A-K-E-S-I-T-A, power, P-O-W-E-R, act, A-C-T. Here we go. The M in makes stands for motives. This refers to right motives as well as evolved or spiritually transmuted motives. Motives, initially at least, for why you would be wanting to engage or what you want to get out of personal evolvement and self-mastery. The A in makes stands for awareness. That is, awareness and feeling of subtle energy changes, such as the meanings of words and the workings of fundamental laws. This includes what I like to call feel thinking. This is thinking to the point of, or engaging in mental activity to the point of feeling it. Because once again, we do want to become not only aware of, but also feel subtle energy changes. And all thinking involves change. And once again, as I said, what I like to call feel thinking, this entire video, the information that I present here is my point of view about affairs. It's not definitive. It's not universally accepted. This material is not something that I found somewhere else. This is my point of view about affairs and the way I like to approach things. Okay, the K in makes stands for Kundalini. Kundalini control, or spinal energy, let's call it that. Kundalini control and upper chakra opening. At least the heart chakra. The E in makes stands for entities. This includes thought forms, how to manage them, how to create them, thought forms especially, but this also includes the removal of entity attachments, unwanted entity attachments. Now, let me interject here again. Some of these interface with each other. In fact, they all interface with one another. Dividing them up is into these individual criterion it's a somewhat arbitrary issue. Some of them are contained within others. Some are more umbrella-like than others. But they all do interface. I have pulled out the ones that I can from an overall program of mine that seem to just stand out as being able to stand on their own as well. Okay, continuing then. The S in MEGS stands for subconscious programming. And now IT. The I in it stands for information. Information or right knowledge, such as of what I like to refer to as the absolute. Also the fundamental laws of and of the environment in which we strive towards self-mastery, and of opposing forces that exist within that environment. And the T in the word it stands for true selfhood. This includes also not just the attainment or increasing attainment of true selfhood, but also what I like to call core control. That is, control from our individual locus of being, self-mastery, self-control from our individual locus of being. And this also includes consciousness expansion into the universal. I call these advanced phases of true selfhood attainment. And now the single letter word A, attention control. Now this is the one that you might consider starting with a bit. Nothing too heavy at first with it, but definitely if you're endeavoring to do all of this on your own, you might want to approach an increased level of attention control first. Then closely followed by or alongside an examination of your motives and raising them to the highest, at least ethical level that you can. And now the word power. The P in power stands for physical control, including right-left brain balance of operation. The O in the word power stands for observation. This includes, but is not exclusively, selecting and bringing in information as accurately as possible from the outside world. This also includes our mental senses, like our mental sense of seeing with our mind's eye. The W in power stands for will power, or will development, will culture. In all of its modes of operation, such as decision, perseverance, continuity of action. The E in power stands for emotional control. And the R stands for rational thinking or logical thinking. And now the final word in makes it a power act. Act, the A in act stands for atmosphere, as in our personal atmosphere, how we interface with others, our energy aura, telepathy, body language, and so forth. The C in act stands for creativity, creative thinking, and this includes our use of mental images. And the final letter, T, thought content. This includes thought content involving sense of humor. That is very important. We often forget about sense of humor when we think of self-mastery, but it's part of it. And those are the ones that I have set forth for you to take into consideration with respect to self-mastery and personal involvement in your life. Makes it a power act. Now, I said these are the necessary conditions, at least some of them. I'm going to propose that these are the main ones, no matter whose program you're following. If some of these are left out, you might want to consider a more comprehensive approach. What's the sufficient condition? The sufficient condition is to do the work. And in my program, if you're following it here, or you contact me personally by way of email or messaging here, it would be my program that you would be following, and the sufficient condition, again, would be doing the work as prescribed. Now, one last note. Makes it a power act, the acronym. is the intellectual property of me, and it is a trademark of Peak Act, my side business name. All right. I'm Theron Q. Ramacharaka. I hope this video has been at least a little informative for you. Have a good day and be well.